Society maintains a rigid script for aging. The expectation is a slow withdrawal, a quiet departure from public life into a harmless, invisible background. Mid-century medicine institutionalized this view. Professional training focused on managing the elderly as passive patients, shifting the cultural lens until the person being treated became a set of symptoms to be managed, rather than a citizen with a life to lead. This medicalized model is currently on a collision course with the generation entering their 70s and 80s today. This demographic was forged in a culture of activism and resistance. Society is demanding silence from the same people who spent their youth organizing for civil rights and systemic change. Fading quietly into institutional care is a direct violation of their history. For a generation defined by fighting for their place in the world, passive surrender feels unnatural. The illusion of a peaceful later life often ends on a random Tuesday. It ends with a Parkinson's diagnosis, a sudden fall, or a hospital admission that turns a quiet home into a medical site. There is a deep, specific shock in waking up to a body that has changed the rules of daily survival. Every step, every doorway, and every routine must be renegotiated. The Gray Revolution treats this shift as a rugged frontier. It requires active resistance and a level of strategic planning that our culture rarely prepares us for. Reframing aging means moving it out of the private doctor's office and into the public square. It is a visible fight for continued relevance and dignity. This movement begins at the hospital exit. The moment of discharge creates an immediate, high-stakes vacuum of support that can feel overwhelming. Basic logistical hurdles suddenly become matters of survival. Navigating steep stairs, handling heavy laundry, tracking new medications, and securing groceries are the early, grueling battles of returning home. Modern medicine is excellent at stabilizing a patient, but it often ignores the practical reality of that person's living room. This gap in the safety net leaves most families on their own the moment they pull into the driveway. Family caregivers absorb this failure. They perform the invisible, exhausting labor required to keep their relatives afloat in a system that assumes they can figure it out on the fly. Logistics determine independence. The real victory of recovery happens through the successful management of a household, not just the management of a disease. Maintaining that household requires navigating the aging industrial complex. It is a dense maze of Medicare regulations, private pay agencies, and complex care minimums. Many families fall into a specific financial trap. In a panic to secure help, they spend their life savings on private pay home care before they ever attempt to use their medical insurance benefits. Unaware families see wealth siphoned away by private agencies, while earned medical benefits stay unused. A better strategy starts with demanding Medicare-covered skilled home health early. Using these benefits preserves personal savings and provides professional oversight. Once the skilled care path is established, families can identify programs like PACE or reach out to their local Aging and Disability Resource Center. These organizations provide the bridge to personal care and home support that Medicare misses. In a system that often extracts wealth and autonomy, specific knowledge of these pathways is the only way to protect a family's future. Modern healthcare focuses heavily on the sheer length of a human life. However, adding years to a calendar without adding the structural support to live those years with dignity is a hollow achievement. True longevity is defined by a voice that remains heard, a life lived with purpose, and the practical resources to stay integrated with the community. The most urgent social movement of this decade isn't about the preservation of youth. It is about an honest, transparent approach to the later chapters of life. Because this environment is so complex, the Gray Revolution provides the tactical tools to navigate it. Utilizing specific recovery checklists and organizing for the logistics of the road ahead allows families to reject the culture of silence. There is an immense, quiet magnitude to this journey. It is a chapter of human experience that deserves our full attention and commitment to dignity. The Gray Revolution marks the beginning of our most vital work. It is a fight for longevity that starts